It was June 8th, 2014. Willowdale Chapel's Jennersville campus had its first ever Sunday service. But of course, the story behind that begins earlier, when the original campus in Kennett Square had a vision to reach more people. Now, we had grown significantly, but there's always more people to reach, and we were trying to discern how best to do that. And through prayer and conversation and discernment, we came to believe that the best way to reach people is not through one giant regional church, but through a network of local campuses. Not one giant fruit tree, but an orchard. So we started looking at multi-siting. This is where a healthy church gets planted in a new community, sometimes starting from scratch, at other times adopting a local church that just needed revitalizing. Well, we didn't know what God had for us, but we just started to pray and to seek. And really, before we knew it, we were invited by the leaders of Living Faith Community Church to consider adopting them.
Well, I happen to be on staff at Living Faith Community Church and had been for the previous 4 years. And let me tell you, as someone who was already at this campus, that this was a big deal. We were going to attempt to blend two church families, each with decades of its own history. But both parties quickly came to believe that we would be better together, which actually came to be our mantra, it came to be our motto. So we had elders meetings, pastoral staff meetings, and eventually gatherings of members to meet and dream and process together. And I still remember when we got the children together from the two campuses. The kids would walk in a room and they would say, "Hey, we go to school together." And afterward, we heard shouts of, "See you at school on Monday," or "See you in class." And this happened with the adults too. We literally had people saying, "Hey, you're my neighbor." Or our kids were on the same baseball team, and we realized that we had the gospel in common, but we also had so much more in common as well. And we could already see how God's kingdom was coming into this community with fresh and dynamic energy.
Well, back to June of 2014, back to day one. We quickly discovered that it wasn't two groups coming together, but three. We had folks from the Kennett campus, folks from Living Faith Community Church, and new people who were never a part of either church in the past, but wanted to be a part of this one. And those three coming together really served us well, because very quickly, this just became Willowdale Chapel, Jennersville. And God started to grow this ministry immediately. Well, in just a few years, our children's ministry ran out of space. Now, thankfully, we had room to grow because 1/3 of our building was completely unfinished, a giant space that we affectionately refer to as the largest closet in southern Chester County. So we prayed, raised funds, and built a brand new children's ministry space, complete with a second floor loft. And it's a good thing that we did. Because one thing we learned is that it's funny how once you build more space for the younger people, you soon need more space for the older ones as well. So we prayed, raised more funds, and expanded our worship center in 2019 into 2020, of course, during COVID. And over the last 10 years, we have welcomed new brothers and sisters and said goodbye to others. We have baptized new believers and dedicated babies in growing families. We have bowed heads in prayer and lifted hands in praise. And we have gone through an adoption, 2 building campaigns, a global pandemic, and ongoing cultural strife, and yet here we are, as healthy as ever. Well, we love being a church family. We love being one church in 2 locations, or really you could say 3, because we have Willowdale and Español, which really functions as a distinct campus. But in a world like ours that is so fragmented and fractured, we get to demonstrate the reconciling love of God just by being better together, by being united, having a common mission and cooperative ministries. This is so what our world needs, the love of God expressed in a unified church. So let's just keep going and let's keep dreaming. What might God have for us next? Where might He take us? Healthy things grow and multiply, and I'm convinced God is not done with us yet.